my name. If you claim you want me, it ain't no thing.
Hey y'all, I'm Jazmine. I'm the creator of Adorn Light Elements, an organic skincare supplier in Houston, Texas, and I am also a newly self-care life coach designed for my overwhelmed empaths. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk and for you to come listen to my journey to being a self-care coach. I am grateful that I am here, but it was not an easy path. So if you are an empath, a highly sensitive person, you're rooted in your spirituality, and you need a little encouragement on starting your self-love and self-care journey, stay tuned. Before we start, I want to give cheers. Here's to the overwhelmed empath, the one whose boundaries are compromised, the one who prioritizes the well-being of others over themselves, the one who struggles to say no, the one that have placed himself last over and over and over again, the one who does not trust himself, the one who feels everything, the one who has manifested physical illnesses and stress-related diseases in their body, the one who attracts toxic energy and feels that they need to fix people. So I guess I'm giving cheers to myself. Clink, clink. Because what I have been all that. I am still working through a lot of that because this is going to be a lifetime journey. It's a commitment. Cheers. Now get you some sips. Okay? And I'm going to need you to keep your glass for later. You'll need it. Now let's transition into me being a wounded healer. So I am master number 11. My life path is number 11. So master number 11 is basically nicknamed the wounded healer. And a wounded healer can basically take their experiences and the pain associated with those experiences and turn it into teaching and healing for others. So I know y'all heard that saying, experience is the best teacher. I can guarantee you a number 11 life path person made that up, because no lie, it really is. It's a way to understand that you can really only teach through experience and through going through something. It's really no way that I would feel comfortable being a self-care life coach if I didn't go through learning how to care for myself. I would feel like an imposter. I would feel like an actor. I am so immersed into this that I know a time when I didn't care for myself. I can think about it in a drop of a dime. I know how to guide others into doing that because I had to guide myself. I was shot in the leg, metaphorically speaking, okay? I was shot in the leg, and I also had to wrap up my leg. I was hurting, but I had to heal myself. And it takes a certain type of strength. You know, I gotta pop my collar a little bit. It takes a certain type of strength to do that. You know how they say also, you know, like, oh, I can't give myself a shot. Yeah, I've had to do that quite a bit, metaphorically speaking. Being a wounded healer also could be that you don't have a blueprint. You don't have a recipe book. You're literally moving by faith. You don't know if this medicine is going to actually help. You are using your intuition and being empathetic and saying like, okay, this is green. And I know that green resonates with the heart chakra. So if I take this, possibly it could heal my heart. If I also take this, it could possibly KILL me. I ain't trying to get flagged. So as a wounded healer, you have to move through faith a lot of the time. And it's a difference than being a martyr, because being a martyr, it's like you volunteer as tribute, and I am not volunteering as tribute. Really, I tried to go the easy route, and God, the universe, all of that, they'd be like, no, this is the way you gotta go. This way, but look at all that. Look what all the obstacles that I have to go through. Yeah, but it's gonna make you more resilient. It's gonna make you stronger, and it's gonna make for a better story. So when I'm going through all of these things that I go through in my life, no, it's not fun. It's definitely not fun. But I truly know that whatever I'm going through is for a higher good. And the higher good is to be able to share my experiences with other people. And that's where my vulnerability comes in. That I can share my experiences with other people and possibly help. Because it's like, I know I'm an extension of you, and you're an extension of me. We're literally connected. We're all connected. And that's also a master number 11 thing. Like, we carry the energy of one and the two, so we feel like two people. Like, I feel like I'm whole by myself. No cap. So yes, I'm just glad that I'm able to share my experiences, and I carry that type of energy. So another thing that I went through as being a wounded healer was growing up. Small talk was so hard for me. Like, if I'm talking to somebody and if I know they're going through something, usually it was a feeling that I felt, like overwhelming emotion projected onto me that I know really was not from me, because I was fine before I started talking to you. But, then I would kind of probe, before I understood that that's not the best way to do it. I would probe and, say, what's wrong? What's going on? Talk to me. Tell me what's wrong, because, I feel X, Y, and Z or whatever. And people would be like, yeah, you're weird, And so that is, growing up, I learned to dim my light a lot of the times. I learned to hide the things that I was feeling from others. But it would be like self-sabotage for me, because holding all that in as an empathetic person only causes strain on you. And so that's how I developed anxiety and depression, because a lot of people would vent to me. A lot of people would come to me and tell me everything that they're going through and just expect me to listen, throw out maybe a little bit of advice. But it was hard for me to keep it real. Like, you come complaining to me about this man or this woman, you need to leave. You need to leave. Now I'm just grateful that I have that kind of confidence to be able to tell that. Back then I was a people pleaser, so I would be like, yeah, girl, he wrong for that. That ain't right. He ain't, you wrong, girl. But now I'm like, well, you knew he wasn't nothing but poop, so maybe you should have left a little bit earlier, or maybe now it's time to leave. Red flag, red flag, red flag. So I'm glad that I've gained that voice. I've worked my way up in healing my throat chakra to be able to speak that, because it's not tough love, it's just real. People gotta hear the truth. People gotta hear the light. That is one reason when I started my skincare company last year, established September 2023, I needed the word light to be in that name. Adorn light elements. We are making the truth look good naturally. We want the truth to be communicated healthy. but we also want the truth to be seen. We can't just give out what people want to hear. I had to learn that. Everything that I'm preaching, I practice, I have dealt with. I had a family member be honest with me about the toxic relationship that I was in. And it was a big rain on my parade because I thought a certain action showed something else. I was blind in my own mind, because really it was perfectly clear. My family member, which we butt heads all the time, but they were honest with me and they told me, no, that ain't what it is, baby girl. This is what it is. And it was like, a piece of acceptance came then. I said, wow, okay, this is not what I thought it was. That makes so much sense. And I was actually upset with this person because how dare you tell me the truth? But I needed it. You need the truth for change. It's no way that you can change without truth. You can't fix anything that's not broken. So back to where I was saying, you can imagine how hard it was to try to dim down being the messenger. And this is something that I kind of beat myself up about a lot sometimes, that I feel like sometimes if I was able to share what I truly thought versus people pleasing and giving an answer with what they wanted to hear, things might have been different. Now, I know people have their free will, but also I can pride myself that I am trusted. And if I'm telling somebody something and we are really close, it's because I care. It's because I want you to be in the know. So, I work through that. But the way I work through that is by never, ever sugarcoating anything anymore. I'm not going to be rude about it, but I am definitely going to tell you what you need to know. So that way you can make your own decision. I'm going to guide you to what the light is. And when you see the light, it's not going to be any denying, because it's right in your face. So once you see it and it's right in your face, you make your own conclusion and your own decision. But the need that I had, whatever it was that I had to tell you, is off of my chest. Okay, so with me being a wounded healer, we are going to talk about my journey with PCOS. So if you do not know what PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome. And it's when you have, per the doctor, when you have multiple follicles on your ovaries and immature eggs. Sometimes you will release immature eggs and it will cause early miscarriages, or you will not ovulate at all. So I was diagnosed with that in nursing school. PCOS, when I first got diagnosed, I did a lot of research. And main thing is said about being predisposed to diabetic, changing your diet, eating a low carb diet, and losing weight, you should be fine. I said, okay. So I had these issues going on, and during nursing school, I was with my long-term boyfriend of six years or so. Can't remember, to be honest.
Okay, Lawrence.
It's so long. We were together since 11th grade. And so I had 3 miscarriages in nursing school, and I didn't know what was going on with me. At this same time, I was going to doctor appointments. I was very, like, I needed some answers. I was very determined. I'm an Aries. It's like, now you're going to tell me I can't be a mom. I'm going to be a mom. At this same time, I was introduced to spirituality during all the mix of this. So, this is when my whole life changed. Spirituality taught me the power of my mind and the power of as above, so below. As above, so below. As above, so below. PCOS was spiritual. I started to look more into what was going on with my body spiritually. Spiritually, I did not like the female vessel. Spiritually, I grew up watching women take L's and just being abused mentally, physically, emotionally all their life. I viewed the female vessel as weak. I secretly did not like being in this body because I was at a disadvantage. It's a man's world. It's a patriarchal setup, and I'm doomed. So I was determined to heal myself. I began to get in touch with my femininity. I began to dance. I started going to the gym like 4 or 5 times a week, doing Zumba, doing body pump with my coworker. This was after the last miscarriage. I started creating. This is when I got into my organic whipped body butter that has healed so many rashes, and just I use this daily. I now have different scents and I have different products as well. That's organic, but this one product, my organic whipped body butter, started it all. My grandma, rest her soul, she told me that I should sell it. And of course, at that point, I was not a believer of myself as much. I still just kind of felt like I needed to do this, but I didn't truly believe, like, oh, y'all just hyping me up. This is not healing nobody rash. It's like, it's just organic shea butter. It's just unrefined organic shea butter with a little bit more oils added to it, and my intentions. Like, it ain't that. Yes, it was healing. If I did not know my own power. Oh, I get so mad at myself that I did not know my own power. But anyways, I began to create. I began to flow. I began to dress different in a more feminine way, and I didn't care who looked at me, who said. I didn't even care who was watching. I just was watching myself. I was loving my body, and I was losing weight. I was feeling good. I was feeling light. I was feeling free. I was happy. So yeah, I went vegan. I stopped worrying about my relationship so much and all its toxicity that was going on in that. And I became pregnant. I have a healthy 5-year-old little boy right now. And I knew, and I did 1 round of acupuncture as well. I just was taking care of myself, in and out. It was very overwhelming for me spiritually. And I did have a mental breakdown. But it was just because at that point, I wasn't grounded. I was a little too free. I got a little too free. As in everything that was hitting me at once. Because I was still going through the spiritual journey. I was still going through, the new pregnancy thing and all of that. And I lost it. And I had to heal myself on that too. I went to therapy. A doctor recommended, he said, you're fine. You don't need no meds or anything. You need therapy. You need to figure out how to cope. You need to deal with your trauma. You need to deal with all of that. You need to heal. And he just said it straight up like that. He's like, here's some recommendations. You got good insurance. Have a good day. And I was like, well, shit, all right. So I went to therapy, and my therapist taught me boundaries. Boundaries, because so much was coming towards me. So much was coming towards me. I didn't know what was supposed to be taken and left. I just brought it all with me. Everything. I felt responsible for everything and everyone.
Okay, Lawrence.
She said I loved too hard. I remember that. She said, you love too hard. People know that. People can see that. People can see your heart. And she recommended that I work on being by myself. So here I am, all alone, because I couldn't trust myself at that time. She said, you know, you just need to be by yourself and figure it out. Oh, you mean I can't distract myself? Okay, fine. But I started to date myself a lot. I loved it. Started to date myself. I started taking care of myself. I began to continue my spiritual journey. I was a single mom sooner than what I had expected. But I felt good. I felt empowered. I felt that finally, for the first time in my life, I was choosing myself. I was focusing on being a mother. I was focusing on staying healthy. I was working out. I was keeping up my spiritual hygiene, my self-care hygiene, and I was just flowing. I've never felt that way in my life. It showed. And people started to respect me more because I respected myself. Any red flag that I seen in a man, kick rocks. Any red flag that I seen in a friend, there go the door. Remember to lock it. Oh, I'm sorry, you don't have a key. Give me my key back. Like, yeah. It felt good. It felt great. So I am enjoying my life, practicing my self-care, my self-love. And I am in this career as a nurse. Graduated nursing school. I am about 7 years in. I lost my father. I had lost my best friend from college. Rest their soul, because they are not lost. They are still around actually, but they are no longer physically on this plane. And I had grieved also a friendship from a long friendship that had to end. Also dealt with some toxic dating situations that followed me. That's what I'll say. And I took a trip to the Bahamas. I said self-care, baby. All of this can get out. I don't have time for this. All of this can wait. It will be here. I'm going to the Bahamas, and I found myself on the Bahamas. I really did. A solo trip, baby. I sure did. Because I needed to enjoy. I am getting so emotional right now about this. The chills. My solo trip to the Bahamas was life-changing. Literally, if I never take a trip ever again in my life, I will be satisfied.
Okay, Lawrence.
My solo trip, it took hell to get there. I missed my flight. Oh my God, it took hell, but baby, I got there. And I spent most of my time on the beach. I didn't do a whole lot, but I released. I let go. My reception wasn't working. I could not talk to anybody, and I was okay with that. I lit candles and sage and Palo Santo and incense. And I put my feet in the water. And I played with pigs. And I talked to the Bohemian men. And I drank rum. And I bonded with women at the pizza shop down the street. And I ate oxtails out of the back of a trunk. Like, if that's not life, it's really the little things. I was at peace. I got back from this trip and I realized that life is so much more than my career. Yes, my career made it possible for me to go to the Bahamas, but it wasn't about the money, because I knew I could get money in different revenue, different ways. I was missing out on a lot. I was working 12-hour shifts, 3 days. No, it does not sound like a lot. It is. Sometimes 4. I was away from my son from those days, and then he would go with his dad, quite a bit. I missed my time. It was being taken. And then these 12-hour shifts, I love my career as a NICU nurse, first and foremost. I love what I can give to the families, and I love babies, and I love being there first, because they are the purest, and they come straight from the spiritual realm, and all they can do is cry, and I use my empathy and intuition to figure out what they want, and that's cool with me. But I noticed that it was a lot of policies that I needed to basically fulfill. It was a lot of tasks that I need to do in 12 hours. And I was missing out on the education and coaching part. This mom sees her baby with all these tubes down her throat and IV, and we're taking blood, and the baby's on oxygen and possibly on a ventilator, and we're just trying to get them to sign papers for consents. I'm not able to talk to them the way I want to and say, hey, I know this is a lot. I can only imagine. You're not able to process this in the way that you can. Do you want to sit down and talk about it? Or is there anything that I can do to support you? I didn't have time for that. One thing that I did notice that I always told my parents, no matter what, and this was just from intuition, being empathetic, I said, go take care of yourself. We got the baby. I know it's going to be hard with you being separate from them, but get you a nap. Get some sleep. You need to produce your milk. You can only produce your milk if you have enough rest. Go drink some water. Go eat. Go relax. Prop up your feet. You just had a C-section. You just had a baby. Relax. You can always call if you want to check on the baby, or I will call you if anything changes. And I would notice when that mom and dad would come back, they would be a whole nother person. Energy is high. you know, not even as emotional sometimes. And I said, wow, this is what self-care can do. This is what self-care can do. Now, self-care, this required a lot of letting go. A lot of letting go of control. A lot of putting it into God's hands. A lot of acceptance of, I can't do too much right now. I can be here and watch everything that's going on and cause myself to stress myself more. Or I can do what I know I need, some sleep. Life is quite simple, and we sometimes try to make it very hard. It's the little things. This is when I decided to go part-time. So yes, I'm still a nurse, but I'm a part-time nurse, and I'm focused now on another journey in my life. Being a self-care coach for my overwhelmed empaths who need help putting themselves first, taking care of themselves, and self-love, setting boundaries, and choosing themselves. Okay, so you remember the glass, right? I need you to get your glasses out because we about to make another toast. Cheers to the overwhelmed empath. The one who sets boundaries. The one who chooses themselves. The one who says no, loud and proud. The one who repels toxic energy. The one who is not afraid to be alone. The one that understands their own wants and needs from others. And the one who is making the choice to transform their life. Cheers! It is time to glow. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will be opening my books June 29th. So go ahead, follow my Instagram. I'll make sure to put it on the screen. And if you book between June 29th and July 13th, you will receive 50% off any package. You guys have a wonderful day. Jazmine signing off. Bye.